I'm sure you will, take back a lot of value from this conference that will add value to your respective business and your respective line of work. We'll give it a minute till everybody joins back. Yeah. Okay, if you have your friends and colleagues who are outside, I request you to call them inside. With this, we'll get started for the next session. All right. Welcome back after the break. I hope you had good break and made connections which are valuable for your business. 10th CHEMLOG India is powered by National Logistics Partner VTrans VLogis, Knowledge Partner DGM India Private Limited. We will now have a session for you which comprises of innovation showcases, presentation and talks by 3 eminent speakers. So ladies and gentlemen, please join your hands together and help me in welcoming our speakers for this session. I'm calling them one by one. So Dr. K. Ganesh, Partner and Global Lead, MSc Center of Competence, McKinsey. Let's give a huge round of applause to Dr. K. Ganesh. We can do better with the applause. We just had our coffee. Mr. Rishabh Agarwal, founder Fax Labs. Mr. Rishabh, can we please have you on stage? Let's applaud for Mr. Rishabh. Mr. C.V. Kumar, Center for Driver Relationship Management. Let's applaud for Mr. C.V. Kumar. So gentlemen, we have... Okay. So gentlemen, we have 45 minutes for this session. I request you to wrap up your talks in 45 minutes. And with that, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Shall I begin? Good? Yeah, awesome. Very good morning, everyone. I think CHEMLOG is always special. 10th edition, I think let's celebrate. That's always great to see a lot of experts and specialists in a same room. That's great. I think the topic which I'm going to take today is something very unique, which is, I think this theme is innovation, right? We have an innovation showcase. I thought I'll probably step back and think about the evolving part of AI, Gen AI, Agentic AI, how that is evolving. I'll be jobless over the time, so for sure the evolving trend in Gen AI and Agentic AI, I know it's not as expected in the last 2-3 years, but now I think there are few areas that is really, I think, coming up well, especially in chemicals. I think why can't we go and start presenting the slides? Yeah, awesome. I think that's my focus today. My intention is to kind of threefold. One is how the overall shocks happening in the business, in the chemicals business, how that is happening, number one. Number two, how India is getting ready for this, right? Whether Indian companies are getting ready for this. And third, I'll probably tell you how companies are started the MVP, the minimal viable product, or the POC on Gen AI. If you don't start this now, I think we'll be late. I think that's where my intention is to kind of cover these 3 topics today. How do we unlock Gen AI in chemical supply chain? That's a plan. Yeah. I think let me move on. I think let's begin with the overall shocks in the business, right? Any guess in the last 20 years, how many number of bigger disruptions? Imagine it can be a US-China trade war, or it can be like a Brexit or it can be like a Ukraine war, right? How many in the last 20 years? The big global disruptions. Guess number? COVID. Yeah, COVID is like, yeah, obviously it's a big one. How many number? 20, 30, whatever. Any guess? 10 in number, yeah. In the last 20 years? 50. Yeah, somebody said 50, 10. I think it's almost like 50, right? We have almost, in the last 20 years, we have a 50 in number. The point which I'm trying to highlight is the number of even what you see in the last 5 years, that is 20. So the events are getting frequent and severe. So we need to really prepare ourselves. From our study, what we understand, right? McKinsey always do, study and survey and bring the best on the table, right? Our study indicates two things. One is every event or every disruptions occur once in a 4-year, put the business stop for almost a month or two. So that means your over a period of the year, I think your complete disruption of the operations is equal to almost a month, right? So that way, I think in the last 5 years, we actually had a huge complication, right? It's just like 8 plus geopolitical instabilities, 8 plus disasters, and COVID is something very different, but economic crisis as well. I think this is where we need to step back, prep ourselves, how we kind of get ready. Number one. Now the next question is, Ganesh, I think, okay, fine, I think this is okay. In the last 5 years this is happening. Now what is the impact? What is any guess in the EBITDA point of view? In the EBITDA point of view, 1%, 0.5%, let's say because of the global disruptions occurs, how much percentage of EBITDA get affected? Any guess? 0.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, what are the? 2 to 3%? Yeah. Thank you, sir. Any other number? Exactly. Hats off. 6% is a number which is in 2024, 8 would have happened now. So that means you doing nothing, 6% you'll in loss. So every year 5% cost reduction is no more valid. So that's where I think people look at, hey, I probably have to do a cost transformation. Many of my clients, the 2-3 years back, who actually think about the growth, excellence, revenue uplift, all of them actually stepping back, okay, hey, come on, I have to also step back and think about cost transformation. That is very clear, right? So that way the impact is huge. So how chemical companies are actually getting ready? So we did a survey across almost 90 plus chemical supply chain leaders across Asia. There are 4 themes evolving, friends. One is Gen AI in the operations. I'll tell you the reason later point of time. It's not a buzzword. It's not a sake of saying for the Gen AI. I'll tell you the reason. Second is autonomous. How do we actually make it? It's not actually completely no touch. No touch is not possible. Wherever no touch, wherever low touch, wherever high touch, right? So where autonomous planning, I think that's where you would have seen many companies in the last 5 years, you probably would have seen almost 25 different APS platform evolved, right? Resilience in business is there for the last 15, 20 years, and digital delivery. There are 4 themes evolving. I'm taking only one theme for next 10 minutes, right? So while these themes are evolving, next 2-3 minutes, I want to kind of give a status quo of the India, right? How the next generation opportunity in India is kind of evolving. So I think this is not only McKinsey's conviction, it is also from different CEOs. India's century. It's not India's decade, it's India's century, that is for sure. It's from a JP Morgan, from a Nestle, from a HP. That is very clear. So that is where I think we are going to capture everything. In 2024, we said, yeah, I think we need a playbook. We need a playbook to kind of capture this India century. We need a playbook, right? I think that way, I think India is getting ready. Now I'll tell you how it's getting ready, right? In an overall global trade value shift, it's almost 4.6 trillion, right? Guess how much India is going to capture? How much India is going to capture this 2%, 5%, 10%, India's own country global trade value shift. Moving from X to Vietnam, X to Thailand, X to India, the global trade value shift. Yes? The next 5 years. Good, thanks for the next 5 years. 12-15%. Any other number? 10%. 10%, okay. You're closest, sir, 20%. So 1 trillion is going to be a huge number, right? I think companies are getting ready for sure. How do we kind of capture this? So that is a good game plan, right? So given this game plan, what are the top trade sectors? Okay, I have a less time, so I will not do the quiz. I'll show the answer without the the moon chart. These are the top sectors. Chem is there. Okay. Now tell me which is the top, maybe the top 1 and top 2. Maybe any guess? These are the sectors, top 1 and 2. Any guess? Semiconductors, sir. Okay. Anyway. Pardon, sir? Aerospace. Okay.
Electronics.
Electronics. Okay. So I was also thinking the same answers. Unfortunately, my result is different. Auto and chemicals. Okay, that's very clear. I think that's a good game plan for us. So in order to capture this, we need to have a different playbook. The different playbook is very clear. We need to kind of think through the autonomous planning, Gen AI operations in supply chain and logistics, resilience, which is flexibility, that is for sure. How do we kind of think through a digital delivery? So these 4 themes are very important. I think this all actually we know this is like 20-year-old information. I think global majors are doubling down, either from a manufacturing or from a sourcing or from a talent or from the global hub. People actually acting as a hub. We become a demand planning team. Genpack and et cetera, companies become a demand planning team for the companies, right? So, and investors also like investing on some of the companies. That is actually Chem. Chem is also in the top 3, right? So, this is also very clear. The way India is well positioned to kind of leverage this 1 trillion, that is very clear, right? Now, I think next 7 minutes, right? Clock ticks. Gen AI, I think bit of a background, right? So, I think we all know AI 1950 started. It's not a new thing. So now I think it's evolving in different ways. Gen AI has come, then agentic AI has come, which is like I'm going to kind of look at from an agent point of view and think through, right? That is where I think this is a journey from a ML, DL, and Gen AI. Now, will Gen AI replace us? Yes or no? No? Okay, fine. Gen AI definitely not replace, but the person who's using Gen AI will replace you. Okay? So I think that's where it's very important for us to kind of start learning it. So I started learning along with my son. I'm also doing the weekend courses. So my son is 11 years old. He's actually started learning AI. This is true. And he's talking about AI in life in the school. He's talking about that. Right? That's how the curriculum is getting changed now. Okay? And bit of a 22nd level, I think everyone knows the basics, but I want to kind of get a sense, right? So it was explanatory. Slowly, we are trying to move to a predictive and prescriptive. I think what will happen and how we can make it happen. Gen AI will tell you, for how to make it happen, I help you to create content, right? So then I'll increase your speed. I'll bring a better experience. I bring a better engagement. That is the game plan, right? It is not that Gen AI is going to change completely everything. It's going to be useful to increase the speed, right? So, 3 aspects, friends. 3 aspects where Gen AI is going to be useful in chemicals. One is extraction of the insights, which is super faster, right? Imagine my molecule design or a chemical component discovery. It takes like, let's say 8 weeks. This will happen in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I think that's where the extraction of the insights is deeper and also faster, right? That is very important. Second is generation of the content. I'm going to create a RFP for my chemical logistics. I'll take 3 days to kind of create. I probably do it in 3 hours. I think that's where the companies are now leveraging for generating the content which is happening by human in X number of hours can happen in 10% of the X. Third is obviously user interaction. How do you kind of the customer service support in Chem? Many companies are actually thinking through how do you kind of use the customer service support using Gen AI and agentic AI. I think that's where faster, more scalable, and it's a human-like interactions coming along. So that's very clear, right? And in many forms, it actually comes from a text form or a code form or an audio or an image or a video or other, right? So it's in many forms. And one information which I want to provide, right? Guess how many number of startups on the Gen AI, agentic AI solutions in the last 3 years? Any guess? Number of startups? India. I'll probably take it as Asia. It's Asia picture I have. Asia. Sorry, I didn't have a India picture here. Asia. 50,000. Okay. Good number. So the top is almost like a 250, 260 top companies, right? It actually indicates these are the startups are coming with the solutions either from a text or a video or image or a speech or whatever, right? So that's resonate the importance. Now, how much of percentage of GDP is going to grab by Gen AI itself? So it's early research. Any 2%, 1%? Any guess? Only from Gen AI, agentic AI point of view, the percentage of GDP.
10%.
Yeah, I think that's a good number. It's almost like a 5 to 8%, right? So this is a very good number from a acceleration, augmentation, and automation of activity. Definitely is going to happen. That is the estimation. I think this, I can't actually sign it, but this is the estimation. And what is the impact? I'll probably not take a question here, but the impact is, it's a very busy slide. I'll share the slide. Definitely chem is there. The chem is there. As an industry, more the blue is better. So chem as an industry, if you see that, you see a lot of dark shade blues in sales and marketing, in product and R&D, in software engineering, in supply chain as well, and logistics. Some bit of a risk and legal. So that way, I think across all industry, chem is also having influenced by Gen AI, agentic AI, definitely in multiple functions. That is very clear, right? So having said this, how people are leveraging in chem, right? One is conversations, right? That is very, very important. Provide customer service through chatbot and stuff. That is very clear. Virtual experts. How do you kind of, interpret the text and then, bring us a expertise element. That is second. Third is generation of the content in chem especially, and coding and software. These are the 4 areas evolving. Another 3 more minutes I'll take. With that I'll wind up, right? This is the lot of use cases, right? From a raw material R&D, chem production, cross value chain, from a corporate functions. I'll not read all of this, but I'll show you some 3, 4 relevant case studies which has been done by chem company, right? One is like chemical component discovery. That is hats off, right? I think many companies struggle in terms of how do we kind of encode high dimensionality discovery from a traditional point of view. That's where generation of the new molecule that happens in a rapid time, right? So many companies like Mitsui Chemicals, Norian Industries, these are the companies who actually piloted and moved into the range where I'm going to use Gen AI platforms. They actually developed their own LLM model, the large language model, Mitsui Chemical Japan, right? So that way I think this is one area, right? The other area which people are started using in logistics point of view, contract parsing. How do we kind of think through the contract, in the contract, be it a logistics contract, warehousing contract in chemicals, contract summarization, complaints check in the contract. I may take like another 5-6 days to kind of do a complaints check. Gen AI actually will tell you, hey, given your the RFP requirement, which particular transporter or a service provider or a maintenance service provider actually is violating the compliance, what is the risk of the specific providers, and so on and so forth. That way, BASF actually, have taken a platform called Hazardeous platform. I think it's a global platform. They actually move the needle, right? That way, I think this is happening well in chem. Negotiation bot. This helps you a lot, right? I think where to negotiate, what questions to ask, where to corner. I think, again, BASF has taken the other platform called Arcasto. This is like a very good bot, helps the negotiator in the room to have a meaningful conversations, right? And that is also a great element. And the other one is RFP, as I mentioned, right? RFP or RFQ or whatever the development, right? That actually many companies, like Dow actually has done 2-3 years back, Dow Chemicals. So this is how do you kind of support the RFP in a shorter span of time. I think that's where I think many chem actually moving the needle. So other applications which I've seen is molecule design, smart maintenance advisor. For example, SCG Chemicals have taken a platform called Aviva, customer service, co-pilot, and so on and so forth. Apart from the chemical, many other industries actually move the needle in terms of not a minimum viable product or a POC. It's almost like now pilot rollout has happened. I think it's across advanced industry, consumer, generally consumer advanced industry take the lead, and the chem will follow. That is very clear. Advanced and AI auto consumer is kind of taken the lead in terms of setting at the rollout setup, right? So with this, I'll probably close. Before I close, I probably kind of, I know there are a bit of a risk. The risk is in many ways. One is like a fairness and bias will come along, that is for sure. There are a bit of IP risk when we use this, bit of hallucination, and bit of a talent complexity also is there. But there are people who are coming with a software, coming with the solutions to kind of overcome this. And I completely understand. With this, I'm closing. Obviously, we need a human to kind of identify the dog, the difference between the dog or a mob, or a dog or the cupcake. So the human intelligence is going to be there, the experts are going to be there, and the Gen AI or agentic AI is going to enrich the value along with the experts, right? Only the job at stake is for consultants, not for the real experts. This is what's happening in chemicals. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's applaud for the speaker, Dr. K. Ganesh. With that, let's move on to the next speaker, Mr. Rishabh Agarwal, founder of Fax Labs. Let's applaud for Mr. Rishabh Agarwal.
Okay, thank you everyone. Good morning all. And thank you CHEMLOG team and Sharad ji for inviting me here. It's truly an honor to be in this esteemed forum. So I will, is it not on? Is it okay? Okay. Okay, so lots of content actually has been covered by my fellow esteemed panelist Ganesh ji. And I would like to speak a little bit about AI and how its applications are being used in the industry right now. So first of all, a little bit brief introduction about AI, which lots of things has been covered by Ganesh. And so AI was first coined in the early 1940s during World War II when computer was being invented, and famous Alan Turing test was being coined that time. And in 1950s at Dartmouth College Conference, the first time AI, artificial intelligence, the term was coined. After then, we see that in early 2000s, we have seen the progress of machine learning and natural language processing. 3 years exactly from today, November 2022, first large language model ChatGPT was introduced to the world for the general public. Before that, we were not able to talk to the computers in normal English or your regional language. We were able to talk to computers only with the help of some computer language like C++ or Java or anywhere. After, in the last 3 years, we have seen lots of evolution, and it has been, I would say, has been a big breakthrough in the evolution. Huge numbers are coming, lots of LLMs came like Claude, Copilot, Gemini, or ChatGPT, or DeepSeek, Grok, and these are all models with their own skill set. So they are like kind of Swiss knife, that they can do lots of things, but there are especially very much specialized model, like from Gemini we have VO3, which is more for video transformation or something like that. Now, if we look at numbers, that how AI is impacting on the global scale. So NVIDIA became the first company with $5 trillion market cap very recently, only probably 1 month back. And we have $4 trillion plus Microsoft and Apple, $3 trillion plus Google, and then Meta is there. And then OpenAI is right now having valuation of $500 billion. 3 years back, it was having valuation of $15 billion. So we are seeing big numbers, and it is going to impact lots of things in the industry. I did some research with my fellow friends, and I wrote my first book on this. This is my second book, Transforming Supply Chain with AI. Thank you. So, okay. So I would like to just now cover on how AI is impacting in the supply chain industry. Earlier, if you are a supply chain manager or director in supply chain day-to-day function, it's very important that you understand that how AI is having the application side, because this is the research part and lots of multiple industries. But if we are talking about supply chain, it has very specific applications, and companies are now adopting it and leveraging it for the enhanced, efficient supply chain. So we have seen like AI-enabled dashboards. For example, you have the global operations on a multi-billion-dollar project, and one project is in Saudi Arabia, just taking an example. So it's one of the real examples, by the way. So you are having one shipment coming from Busan, South Korea, and it is a large, let's say, vacuum tower. around 800 metric tons. Then you are having the second shipment after 1 month, again a superheater, which is going dispatch from Shanghai port. So what is happening that there might be global in the large scale EPC companies. There are lots of supply chain teams spread across the globe. So one team is sitting in Calgary, one is in Houston, one is in New Delhi, and one is in Beijing. So what is happening that maybe there the supply chain managers are not able to talk to each other on day-to-day basis, and separate bookings are made. But when you adopt this data into AI-enabled dashboards, and these two equipment are getting dispatched in the month's gap of maybe 1 month or 2 months, and you have to book a specialized vessel which has this capacity. So it's a break bulk vessel, which again you have to do the booking 1 month or 1 year in advance. This AI-enabled dashboard will create the